Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is the 25th April 2025. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, all of you please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. It is a highly expensive training course, but we are providing complete free training, and all the training lessons are already available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. At our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts to access all our training lessons. Some of you may not be seeing the tab Post. Instead, you will be seeing the tab Community. In that case, click on the Community tab. You get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You need to start your training from lesson 1.1 that is available at the bottom of the page. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions. I provided all the training instructions at our Telegram channel. So I provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Please join at our Telegram channel. Once you join, at the top of the Telegram channel window, you can find pinned messages. Go to that pinned messages. One of the pinned messages are having all the training instructions. So learn this course according to those training instructions. Then only you will become a very good independent trader in the coming months time period. Please make use of this opportunity. Okay, now I am going to NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. And here I am going to find the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Also, I will generate stocks price closed inside the demand and supply zones for daily and above time frames. During this process, daily and 75 minutes time frame, we will also identify high liquidity zones. After that, we will generate NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. And then we will generate bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. And finally, we will generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. Okay, now starting with yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly demand zone. We got 4 stocks. I'm giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. So I request you pause the video, study the report and then proceed to the next reports. Those who don't understand the structure of this report, I request you complete the training lesson 21.1, that is part 1 of lesson 21. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, yearly time frame. Price closed inside the yearly supply zone. No stocks are available. I'm going back and changing the time frame to half yearly. Stocks near half yearly demand zone. No stocks are filtered. Stocks near half yearly supply zone also we don't have any stocks. And price closed inside the half yearly demand zone. We got 2 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone. We got 4 stocks. Okay, next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. No stocks are available. Stocks near to the quarterly supply zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone. We got 18 stocks. We can further filter this list based on quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence, at quarterly time frame, I am setting the filter quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the quarterly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. With these filters, we got 9 stocks. Okay, next, quarterly time frame. Price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 11 stocks. We can further filter this list based on quarterly supply zones having quarterly EMA confluence. So I'm going back. In the EMA confluence at quarterly time frame, I'm selecting the filter quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence, and also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. Now we got 4 stocks. So this is about quarterly time frame, and the next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone, we got 4 stocks. Next, stocks near monthly supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly demand zone, first 17 stocks on the list. Scrolling the list down, total 29 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on monthly demand zones having monthly EMA confluence. So we got 8 stocks. Okay, next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 30 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on monthly supply zones having monthly EMA confluence. Now we got 15 stocks. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone, and those monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA confluence, and also monthly time frame is uptrend in all the stocks. Okay, next time frame is weekly, and this is also end of the week. We will generate few additional reports for weekly time frame. First, stocks near weekly demand zone, we got 13 stocks. Next, stocks near weekly supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Next, Price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Next, price closed inside the weekly supply zone. We got first 16 stocks in the list. Just a minute, I think something is missing here. Stocks near weekly demand zone, we got 13 stocks. Fine. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Next, price closed inside the weekly demand zone, we got 5 stocks. And we should identify out of these 5, any of the weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence. That filter we need to set. At weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence filter enabled. Next, trend on the weekly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. 2 stocks are filtered. But first one is a pierced zone. You can apply pierced zone strategies. Okay, next, weekly time frame. This is weekly, okay. Next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 68 stocks are filtered. Price closed inside weekly supply zone. We can further filter this list based on weekly supply zones having weekly EMA confluence. So we got total 25 stocks. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 25 stocks are filtered. Okay, now we will generate additional reports for weekly time frame. So weekly time frame, let us find the stocks having tested weekly demand zones. So these 4 stocks having the demand zones are tested during this week. Okay, next we will find the stocks having tested weekly supply zones. So good number of supply zones are tested during this week. Many supply zones. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 62 stocks having the supply zones are tested. While testing, maybe some of the supply zones might have been pierced. Some of the supply zones tested and price closed inside the zone. Some of the supply zones are tested and now then after that they are started moving towards the demand zone. So many things might have happened this week. Okay. Next we will look into newly created zones. That tells the strength in the market. during this week. Next, weekly time frame. Let us find the stocks having newly created weekly demand zones. Total 19 stocks are having newly created weekly demand zones. So first 17 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So these 19 stocks having demand zones are tested during this week. Okay. Next, for weekly time frame, let us find the stocks having newly created weekly supply zones. Only these two stocks having newly created weekly supply zones. Okay. So next we will generate few special reports. First we will identify zone confluence, weekly, monthly and quarterly demand zone confluence supported stocks. If the list is big, we can further filter based on quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence, so that weekly demand zone is overlapped with that quarterly demand zone. The high probability zones, weekly zones we will identify. So weekly time frame, in the demand zone confluence, I am setting 3 filters. First one is a weekly demand zone having confluence with monthly demand zone. Next, weekly demand zone having confluence with quarterly demand zone. And then monthly demand zone having confluence with quarterly demand zone. With all the 3 filters. That means weekly demand zone should overlap with monthly demand zone. Both together again overlap with quarterly demand zone. Such kind of stocks we want. We got a big list. First 16 stocks in the list. See, both NIFTY and BANKNIFTY weekly zones are weekly demand zones. They are overlapped with monthly and as well as quarterly. Okay, I'm scrolling the list down. So total 36 stocks are filtered. Because the list is big, what we can do, because weekly and monthly together overlapped with quarterly, let us verify any of these quarterly demand zones are having quarterly EMA confluence. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence at quarterly time frame. I'm setting the filter quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence or not, we are checking. At the same time, when you are checking EMA confluence, the trend on the quarterly should not be sideways. Because sideways trend EMA confluence does not make any sense. So that's why we are avoiding sideways trend and remaining up or down trends. I'm selecting with these filters. Now the list is come down to 23 stocks. Still these zones are very powerful. Okay, first 16 stocks in the list. Look into the quarterly zone. The trend we should be either up or down, but not sideways. HTF is quarterly. Scrolling the list down. Total 23 stocks are filtered. If you have any confusion, look into the search filter always, so that you understand how we searched this list. See, demand zone confluence, we looked for quarterly, monthly, quarterly, weekly and monthly, weekly. That means weekly, monthly and quarterly, all 3 should overlap with each other. At the same time, the EMA confluence and quarterly, we are checking quarterly demand zone with quarterly EMA confluence. Okay, next we will look into supply zone confluence, weekly, monthly and quarterly. So weekly time frame, that means entry time frame is weekly, that is what the meaning. In the supply zone Confluence, we are setting 3 filters. First filter, weekly supply zone with monthly supply zone Confluence. Weekly supply zone with quarterly supply zone Confluence. And monthly supply zone with quarterly supply zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got only 5 stocks. All these are all weekly supply zones. All these are all. Because our entry time frame is weekly. Okay, out of these 5, let us check any high probability set up weekly supply zones based on quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA Confluence. We got 2 stocks. So these 2 weekly supply zones are having more high probability, but here, see here, this is a pierced zone. You can apply pierced zone strategies in that. So this is about zone Confluence for weekly time frame. With this, we have completed the weekly time frame reports. Then we will look into daily time frame. Entry time frame daily, let us find the stocks near to the daily demand zone. We got 15 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Apollo Hospitals is having a high liquidity zone. Biocon is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. Escorts is having a high liquidity zone. Syngene is having a high liquidity demand zone. We have 4 high liquidity demand zones, daily demand zones from this list. Of course, there are few low priority high liquidity zones also available. There also you can plan the trades, but you can't expect 80% success rate in those zones. But still, they will give you some decent success rate. Because this is the weekend, you get a lot of time. So analyze more stocks. Because all these reports will be helping you. See, one thing is you get good trade opportunities. Second thing is you get a lot of experience when you are analyzing the more and more stocks. Okay, next, for daily time frame, let us find the stocks near to the daily supply zone. We got 19 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. Grasim. Grasim is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. SJVN is a pierced zone, we can't access, we can't use it for HLQ zone strategy. Maybe you can use it for pierced zone strategies. That does not come under HLQ zone strategy category. So Sun Pharma, this is the second one. First one is Grasim, high liquidity zone. Next valid zone is Sun Pharma. That's it. We identified 2 daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next. Price closed inside the daily demand zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 42 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on daily demand zones having daily EMA confluence. I'm going back in the EMA confluence at a daily time frame. I'm selecting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence or not. At the same time, the trend on the daily time frame should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, now the list is reduced. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. And don't forget, some of these zones are demand zones are Pearson zones. The reason why I am not filtering Pearson zones on daily time frame, you can use Pearson zone strategies. Because daily and above time frame, Pearson zone strategies, they are effective compared to the 75 minutes time frame zones. Okay, next, daily time frame. Price closed inside the daily supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 26 stocks are filtered. Out of these 26, let us find out how many daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. So I'm going back. EMA confluence at daily. Setting daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the daily should not be sideways. It can be up or down. With these filters, we got 5 stocks. Excuse me. Okay, next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 23 stocks are filtered. Next, stocks near 125 minutes supply zone, we got 4 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone. We got 15 stocks. Let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. CG Power is having a high liquidity zone, 75 minutes demand zone. ICICI Prudential is having 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. Tata Steel is having 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. So total 3 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones we identified. Okay, next, for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near to the 75 minute supply zone. We got 3 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. First one is not a valid one, it is a pierced zone. Next, Manapuram is having a 75 minutes high liquidity supply zone. So we have identified only one 75 minutes high liquidity zone from this list. So with this we have identified all the high liquidity zones for daily and 75 minutes time frame. Okay, next let us look into 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minute supply zone. We got 10 stocks again. Okay, next time frame is the 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone. We got 15 stocks. Let us further filter this list based on 15 minutes demand zone having confluence with 75 minutes demand zone. So in the demand zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. So with this filter, out of 15 stocks, we got 9 stocks. All these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zones. Always look into the search strategy. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near to the 15 minute supply zone, we got 6 stocks. Now let us filter based on supply zone confluence, that is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence supported stocks. So enable the filter. So only 2 stocks are filtered. So these 2 supply zones, 15 minute supply zones, are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Okay, this is about 15 minutes time frame. Next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. We got 7 stocks. Let us further filter these 5 minutes demand zones based on the 5 minutes demand zone having confluence with 15 minutes demand zone. So in the demand zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. With this filter, out of 7, we got 4 stocks. So all these 5 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 15 minutes demand zones. Okay, next 5 minutes time frame. Stocks near to the 5 minute supply zone, we got 4 stocks. Let us further filter this list based on 5 minute supply zone having confluence with 15 minute supply zone. I am enabling this filter. 2 stocks are filtered. So these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zones. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Next, we will find bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. Starting with monthly income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame should be daily, entry zone should be demand zone, and also in bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame daily, we should select bullish, and Zone achievement should be selected to violating opposing zone, and the minimum odd and enhanced score should be 12. Both these filters, zone achievement and minimum odd and enhanced scores, are applied to daily demand zone. And pierced zone we are not selecting for daily, because those who wants to use a pierced zone strategies, they can look into pierced zones filtered. Okay, now we got total 18 stocks. First 16 stocks in the list which are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Always look into entry time frame zone here. And also look into the search strategy, how we filtered. Because entry zone is a demand zone. And we are selecting bullish for entry time frame daily. Okay, first 16 stocks, I am scrolling the list down. Total 18 stocks are filtered. All these 18 stocks, entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. Out of these 18 daily demand zones, some of the daily demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success. So those stocks we are filtering based on the zone confluence. We have two filters. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is daily, ITF is weekly. So let us set that filter in the demand zone confluence. So in the demand zone confluence, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having confluence with weekly demand zone. So by enabling, that means the daily demand zone should overlap with weekly demand zone. When daily is overlap with weekly demand zone, daily order flows will be much stronger than the daily demand zone that is alone. That means that is not overlapped. So this is having much more strong order flow. So this is the assumption. With this assumption we are filtering. So 9 stocks are filtered. From 19, 9 are filtered. So in these 9 stocks, these daily demand zones, all these are all daily demand zones. Sorry. We have 9 daily demand zones. Some of them are high liquidity daily demand zones. So all 9 daily demand zones are overlapped with the weekly demand zone. And also see, weekly trend is up in all the stocks. Weekly means ITF trend. So that's why if weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA confluence because trend is up, if any of the stocks are matching with that condition, then the overlapped these daily demand zones might be having even more high success rate. So that's why in the EMA confluence at a weekly time frame, I am selecting the filter. Weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, we want to filter. And also weekly trend is uptrend by default, all the stocks. So no need to set any filters on the trend. Anyway, they are all uptrend, weekly trend. And the daily zone is overlapped with this weekly zone. So that's why this EMA filter gives advantage to the daily zone. Now we got 7 stocks, all 7. In all these 7 stocks, the daily zones are overlapped with weekly zone, and that weekly zone is having, weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence. That way we are saying these 7 stocks are having more high probability to get success. Okay, this is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. I am removing weekly EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly demand zone confluence. Next, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. Next, weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence with all the three filters, daily, weekly, monthly demand zone confluence, we got two stocks. So in these two stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zone. Both together again overlapped with monthly demand zone. And that monthly trend is up in only one stock. Because it is uptrend, it is eligible to verify EMA confluence in this monthly zone. Sideways trend EMA confluence does not make any sense. That's why if the first stock is having monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, if that is the case, then the overlapped daily demand zone might be having even much higher strong institutional order flow. If that is the case, they may get more success rate. That is the assumption. So now let's filter. In the EMA at monthly time frame, we are checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA. And the trend, sideways trend on monthly, we don't want that stock. We want only uptrend because it is a bullish trade setup. So that one stock is filtered. The stock that is having uptrend is filtered. So that way this demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why this zone is already tested. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Similarly, we will look into bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame daily, entry zone, supply zone. And bullish or bearish at daily time frame, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhances score 12. With these filters, we got three stocks. These three stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. Because it is bearish trade setup, we should look into daily supply zones. These are the entry time frame zones. Out of these three daily supply zones, so how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will check based on the zone confluence. First filter LTF, ITF, supply zone confluence, that is daily and weekly. Supply zone confluence. Enable the filter. With this filter, all three stocks are filtered. That means in all the three stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zones. And weekly trend is down in all the stocks. If any of these stocks, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA, then the overlapped daily supply zones are having more high probability to get success. Let's filter. Anyway, trend is downtrend. Two stocks are filtered. So these two stocks might be having more high probability to get success compared to the other stocks. The supply zones. Maybe that is the reason why. See, this supply zone is already tested twice. This is already tested once. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. That is daily, weekly and monthly supply zone confluence. Removing this EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, three filters we have to set. First filter daily and weekly supply zone confluence already enabled. Next daily with monthly supply zone confluence, weekly with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the three filters, we got all the three stocks. That means in all the three, daily, weekly, monthly are overlapped with each other, the supply zones. Okay, because the daily overlapped with weekly, both together overlapped with monthly. That means all are part of monthly zone. If monthly supply zone having monthly EMA, but trend should not be sideways. So only this stock. If monthly supply zone confluence is there, then this could be even more high probability to get success, this supply zone. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at monthly, I'm checking monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence or not. At the same time, trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So let's filter. That one stock is filtered. So that means this daily supply zone is having even more high probability to get success. So this is about bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next we will look into weekly income trade supported stocks. First, bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhancer score should be 12. And this 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, so this is pierced count in this parameter at 75 minutes entry time frame, selecting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means the pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means zone is not pierced. Which zone? The one you selected here, that is 75 minutes demand zone. So let's filter. We got 6 stocks. All these 6 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. And the entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. All these are all 75 minutes demand zones. We got 6 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 6, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. First, LTF ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is 75 minutes and ITF is daily. So in the demand zone confluence, I am selecting the filter 75 minutes demand zone confluence with daily demand zone. By enabling the filter and applying on the 7 stocks, we got 5 stocks. So in these 5 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone in all the 5 stocks. And also the daily trend is uptrend in all the stocks. Daily means ITF. Because the trend is up and 75 is overlapped with daily, if the daily demand zone having daily EMA, then in that case the overlapped 75 minutes demand zones might be having even more high probability success rate. That we will filter. Going back in the EMA confluence parameter at daily time frame, because 75 minutes demand zone overlapped with daily demand zone, we are checking daily demand zone is having daily EMA confluence. Anyway, daily trend is uptrend in all the stocks because it is a bullish trade setup. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 75 minutes demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason I see the 4th one is already tested and price is moving towards the supply zone. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup, weekly income trade based on daily and 75 minute zone confluence and daily with EMA confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly demand zone confluence. Going back and removing this EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is 75 with daily demand zone confluence. Next 75 with weekly demand zone confluence and daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. See the demand zone confluence, weekly and daily, weekly and 75 minutes, daily and 75. In this combination, we don't have any stocks. For bullish trade setup 75 minutes, entry time frame 75 minutes. Okay, fine. So this is bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone supply zone, bullish or bearish at 75 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and also 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. Sorry, pierced count at 75 minutes time frame. Minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means 75 minutes supply zone pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? This supply zone, 75 minutes supply zone. So let's filter. We got a big list. Total we got 18 stocks. So first 15 stocks that are supporting bullish trade setup, weekly income trade. Scrolling the list, not bullish, sorry, bearish trade setup. First 15 stocks for bearish trade setup, weekly income trade. Scrolling the list down, total 18 stocks are filtered. In all these 18 stocks, these entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones, because entry time frame is 75 here. Okay, out of these 18, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. First filter, LTF and ITF supply zone confluence, that is 75 minutes, and daily supply zone confluence. I enable the filter and applying on the 18 stocks. Now we got all the 18 stocks. That means all these 18 stocks, in all these 18 stocks, the 75 minute supply zone is overlapped with the daily supply zone. Excellent. And daily trend is down in all the stocks, ITF trend. So that is the reason why let's filter, further filter based on daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, because daily trend is down. And also 75 minutes zone is, supply zone is overlapped with the daily zone. So in the EMA confluence at daily, because 75 minute supply zone overlapped with the daily supply zone, so we are checking daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, and we are checking. Anyway, trend is downtrend. Now the list is come down to 7. Out of 18, only 7 stocks are filtered. So these 7 stocks are having more high probability to get success. The entry time frame zones are 75 minutes supply zones. All these are all. Okay, this is based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minutes daily and weekly supply zone confluence. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to select. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily. Next 75 minutes supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence, we got 8 stocks. That means in all the 8 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones, all these 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. Again, both together are overlapped with weekly supply zone. That means all are part of weekly zone, weekly supply zone. At the same time, weekly trend is down in some of these stocks, around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stocks. Out of those 5 stocks, if any weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, then these overlapped 75-minute supply zones are having even more high probability to get success. Let's filter. In the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, I'm checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. At the same time, weekly trend should not be sideways. It should be downtrend only because it is bearish trade setup. So with these filters, we got 5 stocks. So these 5 75 minutes supply zones might be having even more high probability to get success. So this is about the bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. So with this we completed a weekly income trade. Next we will look into daily income trade. Excuse me. Okay, next daily income trade bullish trade setup. Entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone, demand zone for bullish trade setup, and also bullish or bearish trade setup at entry time frame 15 minutes. I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement VOZ, and minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And this 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count parameter at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. So 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So with these filters, we got 4 stocks. Always look into the search strategy and also the entry time frame. All these 4 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. So we got 4 stocks. Out of these 4 15 minutes demand zones, we should identify high probability supported zones. First filter is LTF ITF demand zone confluence, that is 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone confluence. So I am enabling that filter. Out of 4 stocks, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zones. And the 75 minutes trend is up in all the 3 stocks. So let's verify if any 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 15 minutes demand zones might be having even more high probability to get success. So let's filter in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes. Checking, I'm setting 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. All 3 are filtered. So that means all these demand zones are having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why see all these zones are tested multiple times. Okay, this is based on ITF confluence. Next we will look into HTF also. LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. So I am going back and I am removing this EMA filter. Next, in the demand zone confluence, we have to set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Next, 15 minutes with daily demand zone confluence. 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got two stocks. In these two stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Again, both together are overlapped with weekly demand zone. So that means all are part of weekly demand zone. But weekly trend is up in only one stock. HTF trend is weekly. So that's why if this stock is having weekly EMA Confluence, then the overlapped 15, sorry, not weekly, this is daily. Sorry for my mistake. Because 15 and 75 together overlapped with daily demand zone. In daily income trade, HTF is daily. So this is a daily trend is up. Because the daily trend is up, then the overlapped 15 minutes demand zone with daily is having more high probability if EMA Confluence is supported. Let us verify. At daily time frame, I am setting daily demand zone with daily EMA Confluence. At the same time, trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So that one stock is filtered. That means this 15 minutes demand zone is having even more high probability to get success. That is the reason why this zone is already tested 3 times with 3 rejections. So this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for daily income trade. So entry time frame is 15 minutes. Entry zone should be supply zone for bearish trade setup. And also in bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And this 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So that's why in the pierced count, at 15 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0 we are setting. With these filters, we got 14 stocks. These 14 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And all the entry time frame zone should be 15 minutes supply zones. All these 15 minutes supply zones. Total 14 stocks. Out of these 14, 15 minute supply zones, how many supply zones are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on this zone confluence, supply zone confluence. Okay, first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. Now the list is come down to 12 stocks. In these 12 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones, all these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend is down in all these stocks. So that is the reason why if any of the 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, then the overlapped 15 minute supply zone might be having even more high probability to get success. So let's filter. Going back in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Let us check this. And also 75 minutes trend is downtrend. And these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. So with this we got 2 stocks. So that way these two 15 minute supply zones are having more high probability to get success. That is the reason why the first stock is already tested. See, price is moving towards the demand zone. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence. So I'm going back, removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters I am setting. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. 75 minutes supply zone with daily supply zone confluence with all the 3 filters. This is the first one, second and third. So that means 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily supply zone confluence, we got 7 stocks. So in all the 7 stocks, these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. Now both together again overlapped with daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in 5 stocks. Out of 7, 5 stocks. And in those 5 stocks having daily trend down, if any of the daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence, then the overlapped 15 minute supply zone might be having even more high probability to get success. That we will filter. In the EMA confluence at a daily time frame, I am checking daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Sorry, this is a demand zone. Daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence. At the same time, the trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So with these filters, we got 3 stocks. So these 15 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why see this is already tested 12 times. Okay. So this is bearish trade setup for daily income trade. With this we have completed daily income trades. Next we will look into hourly income trades. Hourly income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup. At 5 minutes time frame, entry time frame, I am selecting bullish. And zone achievement should be violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score should be 12. And also this 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, at 5 minutes entry time frame, minimum value I am setting 0. Maximum value 0. That means 5 minutes demand zone is should not be pierced. So with this we got only 1 stock. Bullish trade setup. For daily income trade we have only 1 stock. Let us check this stock is having confluence with 5 minutes with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. Setting this filter. Yes, this is having zone confluence 5 minutes and 15 minutes. Let us check this is also having even 75 minutes demand zone confluence or not. So in the demand zone confluence, 2 more filters we will add. That is 5 minutes with 75 minutes zone confluence, 15 minutes with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, it is filtered. Excellent. That means this 5 minute zone is a fine-tuned demand zone inside 75 minutes demand zone. And also 75 minutes trend is up. Let us check if the 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA confluence. 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA confluence. Oh, this is also having 75 minutes with daily EMA. So it's a high probability trade setup zone. Excellent. So this is bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next we will generate bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. And this 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got good number of stocks. First 15 stocks in the list supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 5 minute supply zones. First 15 stocks. Scrolling the list down, total 24 stocks are filtered. Now let's verify out of these 24, how many supply zones are having ITF confluence, that is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. I'm going back. In the supply zone confluence, I'm setting the filter 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. Now the list is come down to 17 stocks. First 15 stocks, all these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. First 15 stocks, scrolling the list down, total 17 stocks are filtered. All 5 minute supply zones overlapped with 15 minute supply zone, and 15 minutes trend is down in all the stocks. So that's why let's verify if any of the 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 5 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame. I'm checking 15 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. Oh, 4 stocks are filtered. So these 4 5 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success compared to the others. Okay, next this is LTF and ITF, that is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. Now we should also look into 75 minutes also. 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence supported stocks. So I'm going back, removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, 5 minutes with 15 minutes supply zone confluence. Next 5 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 7 stocks. In these 7 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are overlapped with 15 minute supply zones, both together again overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. But 75 minutes trend is down in only 2 stocks. If any of those 2 stocks, 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence, then the overlapped 5 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. That we will check. In the EMA confluence, at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting, I am checking 5 minutes, 75 minutes supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. At the same time, the trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So with these filters, we got 1 stock. So that means these 5 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success compared to the other stocks. So this is about bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. So with this we have completed all the income trade report generation, and in the final report let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. Okay, in this list, first 17 are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. I'm scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. After that, you can proceed further. Okay, this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.